you're watching AAN News and I'm Ingrid Yanara. Like the ever-increasing price of gas and electricity, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services are hiking up their application fees. The agency plans to pass down the higher cost of operations to its customers 2 months from now. Most application fees will go up, some of them threefold. The Illinois Coalition of Immigrant and Refugee Rights condemned the fee increases, calling the USCIS out of control and out of touch. But the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services had warned immigrants of this fee hike since last year.
Our agency is a fee-based agency. We do not receive appropriations from Congress. We receive very little. I would say it's probably about 99% a fee-based agency. So we get our money from the money that we charged an applicant. There's absolutely no way that we could continue as an agency without raising our fees. It was absolutely necessary. Our cost of basically of doing background checks, of processing our applications, and of keeping up with the workload, and not only keeping up, but providing good service. Without that fee increase, we could not do that.
The new fee structure will help the agency to increase vigilance and efficiency by hiring an additional 1,500 employees and cutting processing times from 6 to 4 months. But a 300% increase in the cost to become a permanent resident is seen by ICIRR as a major roadblock for immigrants.
Fee increase for application for a green card, which right now is $330, I believe, and it's going to be over $1,000. So this is going to affect a lot of immigrants. It is going to, as we have said before, it's going to create a second wall.
However, according to USCIS, this huge increase is not without reason.
The application for a permanent residency went up significantly because what we did was take 3 different applications. The one for permanent residency, the one for advanced parole, which allows people to travel outside the United States, and the application for work authorization. We took those 3 and bundled them into one application and one fee.
Before placing the new price tags, the agency took in more than 3,900 comments from the public.
What we received as feedback is that a family of, let's say, 4, mother, father, and 2 kids or 3 kids, it was going to be very, very difficult for them to be able to afford that.
That refers to the cost of a family applying to become permanent U.S. residents.
So we looked at that structure and we reduced the price for children so that children now pay $600 under this new fee structure and adults pay $930. So we did look closely at those comments.
Some application fees are also waived to help immigrants who are political asylees or victims of human trafficking. For all others, it may be in one's best interest to file before the July 30th deadline to avoid paying a higher price for procrastination.
People will be probably applying in droves before July 30th to make sure that they do not have to pay the high cost. And then it's hard to tell. Maybe the number of applications will taper off afterwards because of the high fees. But I think eventually, as with anything else, people will adjust to the new fees, as unfortunately we have to adjust to the increase in gas and electrical services and our mortgages. And I think people will adjust and start applying again.
In Springfield, the Roadway Safety Act was a few votes shy of getting passed in the Senate. Voting on this bill is put off until November's veto session. Meanwhile, immigrant advocates are disappointed by Republican senators who flip-flopped on their support for this act. The bill would allow immigrant drivers without Social Security numbers to apply for driver's certificates, take a roadway safety test, and get auto insurance. The Roadway Safety Act, also known as House Bill 1100, passed in the Illinois House in March, and the governor has announced he will sign the bill when it passes. The ICIRR claims signing the bill into law could save as much as $85 for every auto insurance holder in the state. Currently, around 250,000 immigrant drivers in Illinois do not have Social Security numbers, therefore cannot get driver's licenses or auto insurance. These uninsured drivers are involved in accidents causing $630 million in damage claims each year. Many of them had to drive on U.S. roads for work. Around 70% of these workers pay taxes through tax identification numbers. People say more money, more problems, but in CTA's case, no money, more problems. For commuters in Chicago, this means possible service cuts and fare hikes in the near future. Elaine Lowe has more with that story.
Only a year after increasing fares to $2 a ride, the CTA is prepared to raise the cost of commuting once again.
What do you think will happen if it goes up to $3.25? I will ride the bike.
CTA President Ron Huberman said that this is necessary not just to protect the CTA's budget, but to protect its riders.
If there's one theme that you will see throughout our plan, it is that the #1 priority for the CTA in this particular proposal is protecting our riders in an environment where there's no ideal scenario.
CTA officials are asking for over $97 million to avoid a financial crisis. If they don't get the funding they need, bus fares might be increased from $1.75 to $2.75, and a trip on the Yell could cost as much as $3.25. All this could happen as early as mid-September.
I don't want the price rising up because we had to pay the rent and the living yield, so it's too much. We had the $3.25 is too much for us.
The highs going up is not fair because transportation for people, must be depend on what to do work, and then the gas went up. Now CTA went up. See, it's killing us.
Some CTA riders think that the current fare price is already too high.
I think it's too high right now. About $1.50 is fine. I think it's ridiculous that they're charging transfer. I mean, for each ride you have to pay extra, and it's not used to be that high.
But there's no need to worry just yet. A final decision about the fate of CTA fares won't be made until next month. Elaine Lowe, AAN News.
Mayor Daley joined thousands in hosting the 9th Annual Asian American Festival in downtown Chicago. This festival highlighted Asian culture, history, and their contribution to the city of Chicago. Don Tagala has the full recap of this festival.
It was a showcase of Asian American art, exotic cuisine, and cultural performances and demonstrations. The city of Chicago celebrated the Asian American Heritage Month with a yearly festival at the Daley Plaza. Chicago is a proud beneficiary of a strong Asian American community, a celebration of the Windy City's diversity that promotes cultural understanding and harmony. As the city's almost 500,000 Asian Americans are honored by this week-long festival, Cook County Treasurer Maria Papas honored outstanding Asian Americans who excelled in their own fields. Excellence Awards were handed to some of our young Asian Americans for their contributions to their own ethnic communities.
I'm really happy to receive this award as a Filipino member of the Cook County, and Maria Papas gave me this award, so I'm really thankful for that.
Many Asian Americans have helped shape what Chicago is now. Today, these young Asian Americans are key to defining the destiny of this country, forging forward in new directions with a history of Asian Americans deeply embedded in their soul. Don Tagala, AAN News.
One Chicago developer is working on a unique project, converting a century-old church into a 10-unit condo. Now, it may sound a bit outrageous and something the local community should be upset about, but this particular project seems to be a win-win situation for everyone. Some consider converting an old church into a condo as the latest trend. Joe Esposito is one of them.
We think it's a very unique project to convert an old building like this with the type of windows, the type of architecture it has into condos, and it's not the same stale box type of condos.
Inside, high cathedral ceilings and windows are kept just the way they are. Even the church bell
is still in there.
Will stay above this room on the 3rd floor. St. Philippa's Church will soon become St. Philippa's Lofts. The people in this southwest neighborhood don't mind it at all.
If there was a building that you grew up around, that you were familiar with, and you knew that it wasn't going to be demolished, you knew it was going to stay and be restored, it's a better feeling. You have that attachment to years gone by.
And if anything, Esposito says neighbors hope this new development will make the area more attractive and help raise their home's values. When St. Philippa's Church was first built in the early 1900s, it was meant as a place of worship for German immigrants who live around this area. But since then, they have moved out, and the numbers of attendants in this church have been dwindling down ever since, forcing the church to be put up for sale. And come August of this year, this church will no longer be a place of worship, but rather a place of living.
This has been done for a while now in different parts of the country where developers or just owners bought a church that's possibly going to be demolished and restored it and used it either as a home or converted it to condos. And they're very successful at it.
This church near McKinley Park is just a few miles southwest of Chinatown, a thriving community that Esposito says is teeming with potential home buyers.
Chinese community is moving more west now, and so we wanted to make a contact with them.
He even hired a Chinese speaker to help him do just that. This church is between 12 to 13,000 square feet, and by the time it's done, what was once the house of God will have 2- and 3-bedroom condo units with a parking lot behind the building. When we come back, college students face off on the dancing stage for bragging rights, why one group brought ethnic leaders together, and find out who's in town to entertain you for the summer. All up next on AAN. Chicago's youth is hyped about a hip-hop competition that captivates young aspiring dancers from different universities around Chicago. This year, young Filipino Americans have pushed their dancing shoes to the limits to dominate the Hype 2007 competition. Don Degala tells us more.
It was MTV Generation's biggest hip-hop dance competition in Chicago. Young Filipino Americans dominated the dance floor during DePaul University's Hype 2007 competition. Composed mostly of Filipino-American dancers, the definition's rhythmically intoxicating performance captured the judges' nod and won them first place, their 3rd trophy in a row.
1, 2, 3,
Oh, this is our 3rd time winning, but we're feeling better than ever before. Yeah, so excited. We feel blessed. Very, very blessed. Just to do what we love and to be rewarded for it and get the love from everybody in the Filipino community and the dance community. So it's amazing. Very amazing.
Hype is a coming together of Chicago's young, talented hip-hop dancers sharing their energy, expression, and music in one platform in an effort to bring entertainment and awareness together. This annual dance competition presented by Sigma Delta Pi benefits Target Hope,
And the purpose of the organization is to prepare mostly Chicago public high school students, mostly African American students, for college prep. So there's no GPA requirement for them to come. They just have to commit to go to classes on Saturdays to get additional support in mathematics, additional support in history and current events and personal development.
Hundreds of hip-hop enthusiasts gathered at the DePaul University Quad to support their favorite group.
Today's event's pretty good. A lot of talent out there, and yeah, it's different to the comps we have in Australia. It's very, it's just different. I noticed that a lot of young kids like events like this because this is what they grow up seeing on TV. They kind of relate to this because it's what's in the mainstream. It's how they identify themselves through music, through culture, dancing, and all that.
Hype is one of the most anticipated hip-hop dance party in the university circle. It only gets bigger and better each year. Don Tagala, AAN News.
State prosecutors dropped charges against Alan Lee, the Cary Grove High School senior who got in hot water after writing a controversial essay. The essay's violent and sexual content prompted his teacher to notify authorities, resulting in the teenager's arrest. After it was found that Lee posed no threat to other students' safety, the 18-year-old was released and allowed back at the school. Critics of the decision say that Lee was targeted because of the timing of the incident, which occurred only less than a week after the Virginia Tech shootings at the hands of a Korean-American student. One social service group took the initiative to bring leaders from Chicago's Korean, Indian, Chinese, and Japanese communities together. United Way invited them to address the myriad of problems they face when serving the city's Asian Americans.
From senior care to immigration reform to citizenship services, Chicago's Asian American leaders are being spread thin.
I thought God rested on Sundays, but apparently people still want to fill out their citizenship applications on Sundays. So it has been a tremendous drain on us.
Serving thousands of people a year, the challenge now becomes caring for aging baby boomers who are increasingly further away.
You know, if you have a neighborhood, if you have an Indian neighborhood or a Chinese neighborhood, it's easy to put a social service agency there and people are fairly close to that. But if somebody lives in Hinsdale and the closest social service agency is in Glenview, you know, that's really tough. They don't really have access to those social services.
In the suburbs, there's a lack of culturally competent services and also limited public transportation system. So when you add the geographic isolation to the other health access barriers, Asian American elders are at serious risk of being underserved or not served at all.
But if we don't have more and more, these agencies rely on volunteers.
But the reason why I think they're so important is, one, our organization, I think like every other organization here, is being asked to do more with less funding.
To help do your part, please contact AAN News for more information. Elaine Lowe, AAN News.
A Chinese circus troupe is back to Navy Pier for the second time around. A group of 30 Chinese acrobats will try to dazzle Chicagoans with new tricks starting this Wednesday all summer long. The Chinese circus troupe stopped by Chinatown to show just a little bit of what they've got in store.
The music is lively and costumes so fancy, but my personal favorite is the face change. The secret to how one can change faces at lightning speed is still a mystery for many people to this day. This and other performances like balancing acts and twisting the body in ways you never knew possible go all the way back to the Han Dynasty, more than 2,000 years ago. Chinese acrobatics are known as Bai Shi, meaning 100 stunning acts, and they used to be performed for China's emperors. Since then, the skills were passed down through generations, and thanks to entertainment trades between China and the U.S., Chicagoans now get to see them in action in town.
My father, having a career in entertainment, thought that it would be wonderful to bring some of these acts to the United States. By 1984, we had struck up relationships with the amusement park industry, and we were bringing over acrobatic troupes for the Six Flags amusement parks. And it evolved from there to where in the middle 80s, late 80s, we were doing national touring companies of Chinese acrobats. and also shows on Broadway and the show we have here, Cirque Shanghai.
Do you know how to do acrobats yourself?
Many of the performers are still in their young teens, and one couldn't help but wonder, with all that practicing for this performance, whether they go to school like most kids do.
In the Acrobatic Academy, which is a well-rounded school, it's not only the physical training in gymnastics, it's more like the European type academies where they have reading, writing, and arithmetic. They have classroom education as well as their gymnastics.
The Academy holds auditions in China where hundreds of kids, some as young as 7 years old, go in for an audition to join the circus in hopes that they'll get the chance to travel and see the world. Well, they got what they hoped for. The group of 30 is away from home for the summer, performing in Navy Pier starting this Wednesday all the way through September 3rd. Tickets are now on sale, ranging from $14 to $30.
The musical that propelled Asian Americans in mainstream West End and Broadway theater is back in the Chicagoland area. The trademark helicopter was nowhere to be found in this community production of Miss Saigon, but stellar performance of this cast makes it worth your while.
Thanks to the original Miss Saigon production in London and in Broadway, Asian Americans were given a break to play major roles in mainstream musicals. As Miss Saigon continues to be produced in theaters across the nation, many school and community theater groups have embarked on a smaller scale production of this hit musical in their own communities, giving young aspiring performing artists a chance to play many challenging roles from this award-winning musical.
Because I am Asian American, I wanted to do something where I could feel like I was a part of that, the culture and everything that has to go with it.
I like it very much. It's fun, and I enjoy being in Miss Saigon. It's fun. Now I know all the songs.
Miss Saigon is a modern adaptation of Giacomo Puccini's Madame Butterfly. It tells the tragic tale of a doomed romance between a Vietnamese barber abandoned by her American GI lover during the Vietnam War.
I'm going to U of I next year to study vocal performance. So hopefully I can make a career out of this somehow. That would be my dream, just to pursue this and hopefully be on Broadway one day.
Miss Saigon is a story about a mother's ultimate sacrifice, even if it costs her own life, just to give her child a better life. The Oaklawn Park District Theater will perform the world-renowned Miss Saigon at the Oakview Center, located at 4625 West 110th Street in Oaklawn, Illinois. You can still catch this weekend's run from June 8 to 10. For more information, contact the Oaklawn Park District office at 708-857-2200. While the musical scenario is a grim one, the music and surging choruses give Miss Saigon a vitality and emotional depth that accounts for the show's enduring popularity even in small-scale productions. Don Tagawa, AAN News.
Sounding their loud, poetic cries, YOP, or Young Asians with Power, held their summer kickoff benefit this past weekend with music and poetry. Elaine Lowe takes us there for the show.
1, 2, 3. Yeah!
Making sure their voices were loud enough to be heard, YOP, or Young Asians with Power, brought together talent of all ages yesterday for its annual benefit for its youth performance and writing workshop.
Well, YOP started in 2002. It is a youth organization for Asian Pacific Islander American teens, ages 13 through 19. And the purpose of YOP is to create a safe space for young Asian Americans to talk about issues of identity, issues with family, things that are going on in their lives.
Sometimes I wonder if the color of our skin...
Since its inception in 2002, YOP has mentored dozens of Chicago's young artists in the making and only hopes to open the public's eyes to Asian Americans in the media.
What I'm hoping that people will get from this benefit is just to, one, get in touch with the Asian American artistic community and to know that we exist. Also to take the personal narratives and what was shared and to really meditate on it and to understand that we have histories, we have voices and unnoticed, but that we're here and that we're proud of ourselves and that we're ready to speak out and, you know, speak our minds and sing our hearts out in whatever creative form it manifests itself into.
Lowering to the horizon.
Elaine Lowe, AAN News.
In the motherland, even the sky submits.
Thank you for choosing AAN, your Asian news leader. Please note that we will soon air on Monday nights at 7:30. We'll keep you posted on that. Meanwhile, you can catch our rebroadcast Tuesday mornings at 8 and tune in next Monday. Meet Chicago's distinguished musician who happens to be the youngest artistic director for the Chicago Children's Choir. If you have any questions about our show or have story ideas, write us at AAN41Chicago@AOL.com. I'm Ingrid Yanara. Thanks for watching.